Hi, I'm Annalise. In order to talk to you about why I quit, I first need to go back and explain the reason that I started. But I can't explain that all in this video.
Check her bag to see if she has another phone. She's like 12 pounds. How fucking much did you put in there? I'm fucking crying. I want to leave here with your skull intact.
So in that series, across all of the episodes, you'll see what my life has been like since 2017 when I was sex trafficked by Girls Do Porn. First and foremost, I do want to say, even though I know I don't need to say this, I'm gonna say it. There are still gonna be comments on this video saying, you knew what you were doing, you just wanted the money, you knew but maybe you didn't know they were gonna post it online or whatever the case. I don't care about those comments. I've seen them. Just go look at the comments of the video that I made about a year ago where I just briefly touched on this subject. I do, however, want to say, even the girls that maybe knew what they were doing but they didn't know how it was going to be distributed, maybe they thought they were doing a sexy photo shoot but they didn't know what it was going to be. For it to be sex trafficking, it has to be by force, fraud, or coercion. Saying that you're going to go do a photo shoot in lingerie and then being raped on camera and then blackmailed and have it all over the internet, doxed, etc., that is still sex trafficking. However, personally, those comments haven't bothered me because I knew that one day I would finally be able to release this series. I mean, I didn't know exactly what it would look like, and there's more to come after this as well. This is just, I wanted to tell my story on my platform first and foremost. So I just want to say at the top of this video, those comments, leave them. I don't care, because in this series you will see video evidence previously only shown in court, along with email correspondence, text correspondence, prior to and after the trafficking. You will see, read, hear, and it will be impossible to ignore the fact that I was trafficked. It will be impossible to dispute that I was drugged, raped, blackmailed, raped again, doxed. You'll see everything. Just popping in here while I'm editing. I wanted this video up on the 13th. I have had occipital neuralgia and basically just I wasn't able to turn over editing that fast, so this is crazy. Let me sit up. So first of all, hi, me from the future here, just a little bit. Hold please. Sorry, it's maybe loud, I don't know. So I wanted to get this up on the 13th. This happened, which meant I had to split up editing into 3 days, assuming that I finish it right now, which I only have an hour to do so, but we're hoping. Not that it matters really to anyone but myself. Symbolically, I just really wanted this up on the 13th. Also, I don't know yet how long the final product is gonna be, but just for your FYI, okay? I did yap/dissociate for 2 hours and 48 minutes, I think. That's how much footage I had. It takes for fucking ever to edit this kind of video in order to make it my version of Burviloquent. I realize that that's not most people's version of Burviloquent. I just wanted to pop in and say also that I added text on screen a few times throughout this just because I needed to add context to something I was saying or clarify, or also just touch on something relevant that I forgot to mention when I was filming this, because I didn't have notes. There's that. So just in case you're just listening to this, there's going to be kind of a few times where I'm going to be putting text on screen. To make a statement in criminal court, I had to have so much proof. A lot of it didn't come from me. It came from hard drives of the people that did this that the FBI seized, and footage that they didn't post, obviously, because they edited whatever. I personally have footage from 2017 all the way up until present day, and actually I'm going to continue documenting it until, as of now, February of 2026, when the final person has his sentencing. Hi, me again. I just got an email not 5 minutes ago. Well, actually maybe 5 minutes ago. yeah, 5 minutes ago, informing me that the pretrial hearing and the trial have been canceled that were previously scheduled for January and February of 2026. This has happened at 13 fucking times since Pratt was extradited to San Diego. I don't know what stupid ass game they're playing and why he is still trying to buy more time. He already pled guilty in June, was asking for 22 years instead of life. It's kind of what happened with Wolf also, who was sentenced to 14 years, but I got an email recently about him that his new release date is 2031, and Teddy, the fucking videographer, is released as of May. He was just released a couple months ago. Our government just loves releasing predators into the wild, chopping so much off of their sentences. I swear to God, if Andre gets released early, you will never see or hear from me again. I'm going off the grid for my safety. There's no way he can like come out of this on top, so I don't know if they're just trying to, for us, create more fatigue, because like by 2027 it'll be 10 years since my incident. Others involved, it's already been 10 years, it's been 10 plus years, and so it's like less and less people are going to be showing up, less people are going to be asking for restitution. Pratt was found with millions of dollars Bitcoin when the FBI found him, so it's like, is he trying to have to pay restitution to less people? Who fucking knows? All I know is that I'm going to be there and I'm going to look him in the eyes, and just wanted to throw that little update in because that is so great. It's like a fucked up, whether it's intentional or not, torture tactic for us, the victims, because it's like it's just never ending. I'm gonna go back to editing and try and finish this. So that's all I'm gonna say regarding that, other than, yes, early on their tactic was different. Okay, they had a different way of getting girls to come be in the videos. Most of them were told that it would only be distributed on DVD in Australia. Me again. I think this is the last time. I just want to say the reason for my tone in the next part, I apologize for it. The reason for it is just because for years now my audience has been 80% men. In my experience, 95 to 99% of them only begin to question the idea that they have in their brain about the situation. And like, let's be honest, it's not just the situation, but let's stick to the plot. They only begin to question the idea that they have if something more logical to them is presented. For example, in the series, you'll see a lot of that, blood tests, just things of that sort. But the reason for my tone in this next part is just because I'm trying to be like, do you really think? So yeah, that's the reason for that. I'm just hoping it doesn't come off as like performative, or I don't know, it's just been years of this, you guys, so it's not directed at the people that are watching this, just like genuinely curious and open-minded and compassionate and what have you. It's more so like at the idiots, if I'm being real. So do you really think that in 2017, if I were told that, first of all, I had never done anything remotely adult in my entire life, you really think if I was told it's only going to be on DVD, who even has a DVD player? Like, I was one of the last people that was trafficked by girls newborn. By that time, they really switched up their tactics. They could no longer use the same tactics. This is not what this video is about. You'll see everything in detail when the series comes out, but just because I know that I'm gonna get those comments, there's a little something to maybe hold you over until the series comes out. There is proof so irrefutable that if you've ever been someone to comment something like, you knew what you were doing, you know what you were getting into, you just wanted money, I hope it makes you question your entire existence. The reason that I'm choosing to release this video first about why I quit OnlyFans, and also the reason that I did not have time to do my hair, like, this is kind of just a crapshoot in the sense of I actually was not planning to film this today, so it's kind of crazy. But as of today, July 13th, 2025, my OnlyFans is finally deleted. I actually initiated the process. I requested my account be deleted back in January, but just a few days before I had done that, there were a few people who bought a bundle where it was like a 6-month subscription for a little bit of a discount. So because of that, it was like, on July 13th, your page will be deleted, and you couldn't really search it, I don't think, or if you went to the link, nothing would show up. But those people, however many, who got the 6-month subscription, they were allowed to access my content for that time because they paid for it in advance. So my content had to remain up until the 13th for that reason, and I haven't been able to log on since January when I initiated it, and not that I would want to, but just knowing that it was still in existence, even just for that handful of people, it hasn't felt final yet. And even today as I film this, it's actually the 11th today. It's obviously not done yet, but it is just so close. I can taste it. Alright, so why did I choose to completely stop doing OnlyFans? And also to fully delete it and not just leave it up. I've seen videos of girls that have quit and they talk about their reasons. First and foremost, so respect every person's reason to stop doing OnlyFans or to keep doing OnlyFans, to do it forever, to willingly do mainstream porn. Like, I respect the shit out of all women. So this is not me being like, oh, my reasons are better. No, it's just different. I just don't personally know of anyone that has my specific reasons, so I just want to share it with you. February 2020. Like I said, in the series you will see the very dark and crucial backstory that precedes this time period, but for now, all you need to know is that from July, August of 2019 until, we'll say, February 2020, I was in an abusive relationship. Something that was consistently weaponized and just brought up was the fact that there were videos of me online getting fucked. Despite this person knowing what happened and seeing a lot of the proof firsthand, their ego and narcissism, and I mean, frankly, above all else, just their abusive nature surpassed any sort of understanding of my situation. It was often brought up at night when he was drunk, which was every night, but on a few occasions I would walk into his apartment, he'd already be drunk, which again was normal, and he would be just, I don't even know what to call the state he was in, but angry and drunk and just kind of like either yelling about something or just like muttering to himself. I walked in on a few occasions, he would have a video of me being raped playing on his computer. He would just be yelling at me to like look at it, to look at the screen. Now at this point, I hadn't started EMDR therapy yet, because from 2017 to 2020, I was barely making rent each month, and so that was not an option for me. However, with my educational background and knowledge of EMDR, and honestly just knowledge of trauma therapy in general, and also just the way that my nervous system is and triggers for my PTSD and etc., I just knew I could never look at this video. Still to this day, I've never seen the full videos. I've seen small clips when necessary. Anytime that I was sent a screenshot, which happened a lot in the first couple of years, I would dissociate and become so ill. I just remember like 2017 to 2019 especially, just days where I would like be just going through my DM requests and stupidly open one that was a photo and see it was a screenshot, and I would just like be paralyzed for that whole day, and it was just like a wash, like I couldn't do anything that day. So all that to say, for him to bring up the video and try to force my head to turn and watch, try to take out my fingers from my ears, I was breaking down day by day in that relationship, and not just for that reason but other ones too, and just that in specific was kind of the catalyst as to why I started. So it was around December 2019, I want to say, that I started a private Snapchat. Long story short, I had a Patreon since 2017. It was quite literally the opposite of adult content. It was like all women on there. It was just me 5 times a week, like daily, me like sitting in my car talking for an hour. I still have the Patreon, but this was like, I'm just saying, like, this was pre anything. And I decided there is no world in which I am working online, because that's kind of my only option because of the content that is out there of me, preventing me from getting a job because of, do you see what I'm saying? It's like, but there's just no world where I continue to be online in order to make money and have to keep seeing screenshots being sent to me, even just the messages sent to me about it. It was just the most powerless, on top of just the trauma and the reality of the situation, it was just the most powerless feeling, and like more than a feeling, it was just, I was so stuck, because it's like I couldn't get a job in my field. There's no fucking way. I relied on YouTube, Instagram, my blog, Patreon to make money. Not making that much money. I should have been making way more money in the career that I wanted to be in the career that I went to school for. And how do I take back any sort of power from that situation? That is when I was like, I want to do a private Snapchat, and I wanted to post, like, I actually can't remember my mindset at the time, if I was kind of just like, might as well just start out posting nudes because it's already out there. No, that's not true. I mean, it's not really important, but on private Snapchat, I want to say it was more so just like implied, but it was amazing because I started making money from that. And the rule is, like, if you're screenshotting things, you get removed immediately. But also, like, I kind of didn't really care because I'm like, I'm choosing to take these photos and post them on my private Snapchat. No, I don't want people like leaking it, obviously, because that defeats the purpose. But if they are, like, I chose that. And then this was the time where, like, OnlyFans hadn't really popped off yet because COVID hadn't started yet. Like, this, we're talking, like, this is December, January of 2020, or yeah, January 2020. And I brought up to my ex the idea of OnlyFans. I just remember bringing it up to him and him saying that, basically just calling me a slut and saying it was gross. Only like the lowest of the low would do that, blah, blah. I'm smiling because it gets ironic in a second. Even if I were to, I was like, even if I just post lingerie pics, and like he knew my reason for wanting to do it, you know, to take the power back and also be able to support myself and honestly support him, because what the actual fuck. But he hated the idea. And so fast forward to February of 2020, he goes to jail for domestic violence. I think there were like 6 charges on him. While he was in jail, this was a horrible time, by the way, and like when I try to talk about this time, it is like weirdly still, it just affects me a lot. I don't know. But while he was in jail, I made an OnlyFans. Then once he got out, and then, you know, there was about a week or so of him posting nooses and a lot of crazy shit on his story and saying that he was gonna attempt, even though it later admitted he just wanted attention, 5150, all of this. And there was like a week there. Right after that, he pops out with his own OnlyFans. Kind of close up this chapter of how it started. We also had a joint OnlyFans that he created. We had it for probably less than a month because I found him very disturbingly talking to like hundreds of girls about wanting to collab with them for OnlyFans on his like own personal OnlyFans, and telling all these girls that like I'm crazy and we're not together. Meanwhile, he daily was begging me to like be back in a relationship with him because I would not do it after he got out of jail. He moved into my apartment complex, in the same apartment complex as me. Long story short, I got a 3-year restraining order against him. Now we're gonna continue on with my personal OnlyFans journey from 2020 to 2021. 2020 to 2021 was my OnlyFans era. That's when I was doing it. That's when I was the most successful. I made the most money. I filmed with boyfriend that I had in 2021 and 2022. Details not really necessary for the purpose of this video, but 2020, 2021, that was my peak. And thank God I really lived well below my means, and I saved everything that wasn't rent or necessities during that time. I actually loved it. It was fun for me. It was insane that I was actually making real money for the first time in my life. I was actually financially free for the first time in my life. I was no longer getting sent screenshots of me being raped. It was so far and few between that I would see anything regarding girls do porn, and when I did, because around this time it started to come out that there was a case going on and like some of the court documents were coming out. It's kind of was all happening around this time, and so people started learning about what girls do porn actually was, putting pieces together. Not everyone, but I truly enjoyed it. In fact, I was just the other day on Snapchat, I was posting like 4 years ago today, and it was something from 2021, and I just was thinking and saying on Snapchat, like, I look back at 2021 as like one of my favorite years ever. Like being 26, 25, how old was I? 26. Some of the best times of my life. I liked what I was doing. I was always in control of what I was filming, taking photos of. I didn't really collaborate with people. I only filmed with either a boyfriend or like if I was in like a brief situationship, which wasn't very often, or a girlfriend. I never was someone that like did collabs, which all power to people that do that. I would have been way more successful if I did. It just that part didn't feel right for me. It felt a little too close to like, I don't know. I just wanted to be comfortable basically, and so I filmed what I was comfortable with, and I loved it. I did. Like at this point, like by 2021, even if someone's leaving me like what they think is a mean comment, being like, you do corn, I've been hearing that for 4 years at this point. At this point, yeah. Before, no, I didn't. So I hated seeing that. I would block certain words from my comments, but now it's like, yeah, and I'm choosing to do it, and I'm doing it with someone that I love, or by myself, or what have you. You know, OnlyFans like went crazy in March-ish of 2020 because of COVID, and not that it was normalized, because I mean there's even still like a big stigma against it, but I was like, yeah, I'm doing OnlyFans. So are like a lot of other women. I was gonna say half of the women, not half, but you know. And it was just like, yeah, what about it? You want to send me a screenshot, a leak that you got online? Yeah, I chose to do that. It's not something I haven't already seen. I edited that video, you know. It's different when I'm being sent screenshots or little clips of me being brutally raped on camera. So it really was serving its purpose in the sense of getting my power back, financial freedom, stability, being able to have more time. Well, first of all, also the means to get therapy and all, like the things that money will provide, obviously, that I couldn't do before. Also having more time to heal and focus on me and build healthier relationships and not be stuck in what I was stuck in for so long. It was serving every purpose and allowed me to travel, and like, it was just, I think you get the point. But I thought, by the way, I don't know if I mentioned, like, I thought very long and hard about, like, do I want to start even the private Snapchat, but then, like, do I want to start an OnlyFans? I had already been thinking about it, and like, at that point, I'm 25. I was 25 when I started, so like, prefrontal cortex, we're good, okay? All of the reasons that I set out to do it, it did all of that and more for me. You're probably wondering what changed. Well, the first time I felt like I'm gonna have to stop doing this soon. Not even that thought specifically, but the first time I felt like, what am I gonna do? What's the plan from here? I've only been doing it for, it was about a year and a half. This was in December of 2021. It was the first time that I was like, shoot. And that is because I found out I was pregnant. 1000% real reaction. It's me just walking over to my counter where I had it and looking at it. There are videos about it on my channel. It was an ectopic pregnancy, but I did not find out until I was about, I want to say 11 weeks along. I didn't know. I had been taking tests, but they were negative. And I'm like, no, like, that doesn't make sense. Two say negative, one says positive. There's just no way. All culminated in finding out that it was an ectopic pregnancy. I had to have surgery. The thing about that was I had never been pregnant before, never even had a scare. I have endometriosis and have always been told like it's going to be very challenging, and not really relevant, but kind of. At the time, it was like one of the few times in my life that I was on birth control. I had an Nexplanon in my arm. When I got pregnant, the theory behind that is like the Nexplanon, the progesterone, helped my endometriosis. In theory, like, yes, it's birth control, so you're not supposed to get pregnant, but a small percentage of people do. And for me, it helped my endometriosis so much, and then I also happen to be that small percentage of people where it doesn't work. And then it's pretty common to have, if you do get pregnant with Nexplanon, it's quite common to have an ectopic pregnancy. So, but the moral of the story was like, oh my god, yes, it was an ectopic pregnancy, but what does this mean? Like, if I get the Nexplanon out, which I did, does that mean like it's gonna be potentially easier to get pregnant? Does that mean, like, I don't know, just the thought that like for 12 weeks I was pregnant and I did not know until the very end, and then at that moment I was going into surgery. Coming out of that, it's like, what if that wasn't an ectopic pregnancy? I don't know. Since that moment, I just never felt the same about OnlyFans again. Not that I was like, I'm done with this, I want to be done, but I just never felt the same about it since that moment. My camera's telling me it's about to run out of space. We're gonna have to continue this after I charge my battery and import this footage. Damn it. Okay, it's the same day. Well, kind of. It's almost midnight. I want to finish this. Also, yes, I'm in my car. It's kind of the only option right now. My house is really loud, so I had to come out here. Trust and believe, if I remembered that the date that my OnlyFans was being deleted was tomorrow, I wouldn't be looking like this, okay, for this video. Who cares? That's not the point of it. Left off with the ectopic pregnancy, I believe. 2022, I continued to film with that ex until October of 2022. Not like every day or anything. It was always just like, weirdly, it was always him that would pull out the camera. I mean, you can tell by the videos. It was always just natural. Like, I never wanted to force anything. And then in October, again, I found out that I was pregnant. Not the point of this video, and I don't want to talk about it. I ended up having a stillbirth in January of 2023. My ex and I broke up in November. So that's just a side note. Like, we definitely weren't gonna film anyway, but we also broke up. Also, something I don't know if I mentioned, I have always done all of my own messaging, which I think people know now, but it didn't used to be like a commonly known thing that people have writers. They're with an agency. The agency provides writers, usually like from the Philippines. They're like $2 an hour. I've seen it happen. I've never had them. I've seen it happen because I was with an agency that also had like a sector where they did OnlyFans stuff. I was not with them for OnlyFans, but I did all my own messaging. So that's kind of why I hated it, because it was too much. Like, for most people, when they have writers, that messaging is like the most fruitful, lucrative part of OnlyFans. For me, no. There's quite literally no way. People on OnlyFans are not talking to you, okay? There's no way to have full conversations all day with thousands of people at the same time. That's why I always would, like, look at the first part of the message and see, like, is this person... this is why I had a video list. Kind of getting aside from the points here, but this is why I had a video list and everything was, like, numbered and whatever, so that people could just message me what they wanted. I would send it as a pay-per-view. In the first part of the message that I could see on the side, if I saw someone was just, like, trying to shoot the shit with me, I'm not responding to that. So, yeah. But when you have writers, like, you have people 24/7 sexting with people, sending videos, charging for various things, and they're very good at it. Luckily, my content was really good that I sent out, and it was inexpensive, so I made a killing on there for those couple of years, but I digress. Like I said, I had this stillbirth in January 2023, so you might be like, okay, so why did you wait till January 2025? That must not be the reason, and you'd be correct. Having a stillbirth wasn't the reason that I was like, I need to stop this now. It wasn't like I'm so broken from this, which I phrased that in the wrong way. I was extremely broken from that, and I do think I took like 2 full months off. But it wasn't like, I know that I had to keep making money and supporting myself, so it wasn't like okay, that's it. Like, this was a sign. It wasn't a sign. It was a really hard, shitty thing that I went through, but that's not the thing that made me delete it. Like I said, I stopped filming with my ex, and that was in October 2022. That really was kind of the end of the era of what I would consider like my OnlyFans era, aside from one random threesome in April 2023, and that was like just an organic thing that was happening, and like we just happened to film it, and it happened to be okay for me to send it, whatever. It wasn't like intentional filming for OnlyFans, but aside from that, I really was done like in October 2022. It was the end of Boy Girl. It was the end of me filming new content. I maybe did a couple of like solo videos in 2023 or 2024, can't remember. But I would take photos daily and post daily, all 5 years almost. And when I felt like I could muster up the gumption, I would do some messages and send some videos. There were like a handful of people who either had been like subscribed from the beginning or just were very kind, and like I actually did enjoy talking to them and just having actual conversations with them. So I will say there is a small exception to what I said about messaging, but small, very small in comparison. Like I said, having the video list and like a couple of bundles, whatever, that's how I was making money from subscriptions and that. But I was not doing any promotion whatsoever. I couldn't. All of my social media accounts were like banned, and I really wasn't talking about it anywhere else. I was not promoting it for 2 years. It's kind of interesting because during the time that I did OnlyFans, I had 2 relationships. And this is not counting that first one I talked about. One of them, like I said, we filmed together, and majority of the videos were with this person. Then I was single for like 8 months. Met my more recent ex. We fell for each other like really quickly. He knew my whole story. In the beginning, like I would be telling him stories about crazy OnlyFans things that happened, and he was like laughing and like, you're so crazy, whatever. Then like I remember for my birthday we went to Arizona, so September 2023, and all of a sudden he's just like telling me to quit OnlyFans. He's like, just like move in with me. He's basically just telling me to quit, and like I'm like, what? You're telling me to quit the thing that like I've known you for how long, and you expect me to believe? Do I even need to get into like the dynamics there? It was something he never could accept fully, although he knew that like I wasn't doing it anymore, and it was just kind of there, but he didn't like the idea of that. The point of that was like, it's kind of interesting how like one relationship, in hindsight, like I don't know, they were very different. But when that second relationship ended, which was like in March of 2024, I hadn't quit OnlyFans. You know, I didn't quit for him. I very much around the time, like before we broke up, was at the point where I was willing to. I might have even initiated it, but then like after we broke up, I was like, okay, cancel. I need to make money. Hello. Just because there was such a 2024 was a really fucking hard year for me because of things that happened after my breakup with my ex and right before and during. So I really held on to it, OnlyFans, as a crutch that year. Like, last year was more of a blur than like any other year that I can remember, and you might have gathered so far that like I had some pretty traumatic years. Even before 2017, all of 2016 and the first half of 2017, I was living in the hospital, out of state. So I had actually just gotten out of the hospital, and it had been 2 weeks when I was trafficked. Just throwing that out there. That's how hard 2024 was. Yeah. For the sake of time, although this is probably very long, by October of 2024, I moved to where I live now in August. So yeah, around October 2024, the money I was making from OnlyFans was no longer, I don't think it was even fully covering my rent. Granted, yes, my rent is high. I live in Newport Beach, and before this I lived in LA. I've never gotten to the point where like just having a passive OnlyFans account, essentially, that I would like occasionally get on and message, and I would post daily, but passive in the sense of like, you know what I mean. But if I were to put effort into it, I could have easily started making good money again. The days of effort were long gone, like long gone. 2 full years of being checked out. And even in 2023, I was saying out loud to people, it's just so out of alignment with myself, my soul, and like just out of alignment. And like I could recognize it, but I felt that I had to hold on to it for stability. So, ironically, at the time when I really needed it the most, and by it, I mean money. I don't mean the other reasons that I initially started OnlyFans. At that time is when I deleted it, which is funny because like in the past I had the option like, quit, I'll take care of you. Even like if I had quit earlier in 2024, I don't know, like at the time when I deleted it, logically, like just looking from the outside, it's like, that's the worst timing ever. Why would you do that? I'll explain why. First, as far as deleting it, I was terrified. I have a clip of me deleting it. Of course, it's 4:44 right when I open my eyes. For like the last 2 months of the year, I was doing a lot of healing in a lot of ways, but a lot of meditation specifically focused on like, what is it that's blocking something from me right now? Like, I'm doing all of the right things, but there's something deep in me that was very unhappy. Like on the outside, it's weird. Like my outer layer was actually getting better, but there was something deep that I was like, okay, what is it? And every time I would meditate about it, I would feel like I would like see it, or I would get a very strong thought, and it would always be like deleting OnlyFans. I mean, I would get some weird signs even outside of meditation. I just knew, but I kept like kind of trying to confirm like with the universe, like, are we sure? I deactivated it, like I said, not till tomorrow now will it be deleted fully. Also, something I wanted to say that like helped my mindset a lot when I was so scared to delete it. Also, I actually had already deleted my free page sometime in 2024. Can't really remember, but that was actually a big deal because that page had like 30,000 subscribers on it. Granted, I wasn't posting on it. I really never used it, but if I ever wanted to just like suddenly move all my content over there, that's a fucking easy way to make money, you know? So I deleted my free page. So deleting my main like paid subscription page, I was like, okay, this is goodbye income. I guess and I think a lot of people maybe can relate to this. I know I have a lot of friends who can. Feeling like it's foolish to stop doing something if you don't already have something lined up. I'll quit once I already have something else that's like making just as much money.
Hi, me again. Still editing 5 hours later. I just want to clarify, I am not saying quit your job and pursue your passion just willy-nilly. I recognize that I saved a lot of money. That didn't mean it wasn't scary because I had already been living off my savings for 2 years, essentially. I don't mean this in the sense of like, go pursue your passion, quit your 9 to 5. That's just not even at all what I'm talking about here, and maybe I did a better job of explaining it later, I don't know. I just had to stop editing right there and clarify. I don't want to sound like one of those people that is like, quit your job, pursue your path. No, like, you gotta make smart decisions. I mean, take risks, but take calculated risks. That's not what we're talking about here. I would just like to clarify, we're talking more like soul, spiritual situations, and not just with jobs, which I do think I get to in a second. Okay.
I actually have a lot of friends that do OnlyFans that are currently kind of in that mindset. They're kind of stuck in the thing that I was stuck in, but also I'll get to why I stopped, not just concerning money. Okay, we're getting there. I really do believe that our ability to trust, especially when we can't see the outcome, that is one of the most important things we can do. The universe, God, whatever you believe in, it's not testing you. It's waiting for you to stop testing it. You have to trust first and then receive. And like I said, I kept feeling like, what am I blocking? How am I blocking it? Just the resistance created so much suffering. When you can fully let go of something, that's when what is meant for you will flow to you effortlessly. And it's so hard. Like, it's so hard. This can apply to so many things, but our egos love control, but our souls love and need surrender. That mindset is what ultimately got me to finally delete it. Let me tell you something. I was really expecting, okay, and this was, maybe I shouldn't have expected this. I was really expecting, like, delete OnlyFans, something amazing is gonna come very soon. Kid you not, the next day I got a fat bill, medical related. 2 weeks later, an even fatter bill, another health related thing. 2 more things happened that required a lot of money, okay? So, further, I was hit with a decent amount of tragedy in I would say the month after deleting OnlyFans. It was a lot. And I trusted, back to me being glad that I saved my money. Since October of last year, I've been living off my savings. And I'm going to continue to do that until my current venture comes to fruition, which it will. And I've been working on it for a long amount of time. All that to say, here we are 6 months later, and I'm still trusting. I'm still like, you know what's weird? I haven't had something happen yet where I'm like, that's why I deleted OnlyFans. Like, oh my god, I got a crazy opportunity that's like just what I want and also provides abundance and security for, oh my gosh, I met the love of my life and like they just want to take care of me. Nothing like that has happened, okay? But guess what? I'm okay. I have hard days sometimes where I'm like, why? Why? But like, I don't want to ask why because there's no point in doing that. I just focus on what I am focused on, and I know that what I'm doing right now is the right thing. Whatever's gonna happen is gonna happen when it happens. Whoa.
This is the last time you will see me, I swear. I just want to say, on July 13th, I received an email that I've been waiting for 6 months. Minimum 6 months. Reality, my whole life. I didn't know if it would ever come, by the way. I didn't know. It's very much related to topics that I spoke about in this video, and I quite literally sobbed when I saw the email because why was it sent on the 13th of July? The fact that I got my first real sign in my mind, like, I was getting signs leading up to it, like I said. But since then, I was like, well, this kind of feels like a bunch of slaps in the face, and like, maybe I should hit that cancel button. Maybe the universe was making sure I wouldn't hit that cancel button. Because on the 13th, I got this email, and I had the ability to truly, I don't think I've taken such a deep breath, sigh of relief, definitely not in the last decade. And I know now with more than just faith and trust, like I have been talking about up until this point, literally. This was, what, 3-4 days ago that I'm talking about this? And then the next day is when I got the email, and it was, ooh, my hair just came on, so it's loud. But it's just not a coincidence. And this is your sign, okay? Trust so deeply in your truth, whether it's letting go of a person or a job or a circumstance or whatever it might be. Do it when it feels the hardest. Do it when it doesn't make logical sense, but your soul feels trapped. Do it when you've been waiting for a time where you feel more stable, just more time or more confidence, because that time never comes. And once again, this is not an MLM speech of quit your job and pursue your passion. Hello? Pursue your passion. We're all just chasing our own minds constantly, and let go. Make sure that, here's the thing, if you're in alignment with your highest, truest self that you can imagine, your truth, and you're actively working to be absolute best version of yourself, prioritize helping others, whether it's people, animals, volunteering for causes that you care about, just learning, educating yourself on topics that can potentially benefit others. Be so sure of your soul that you just know that in time, God, the universe, insert what you believe in here, will provide, put you where you need to be, bring you what you need, who you need. It has been confusing. I've been impatient. I've been frustrated. I've been feeling a bit beaten down at times. Lack of clarity. Yes, I was begging for some clarity, but there was never a time, there's no way to have doubts when you can say with 100% certainty, you are in alignment. You are adding good to the world in whatever way you can. We all have there's a different barometer for all of us and what we can give. And if your soul is more familiar to you than your ego, that's the best place you can be in, even if it's the hardest time of your life. That is all. Let's finish this video.
The reason ultimately that I deleted it is because the month that I realized, wait, I don't even think this is paying my rent anymore, that is when I was like, okay, all of these things that initially were my reasons for starting, now none of them are being fulfilled. It didn't serve its purpose in any single way. I definitely no longer enjoyed it. That had been a thing for a long time. I no longer wanted to put myself out there. I no longer felt like it was an act of reclaiming my power like it was before. Now it's no longer paying my bills fully. So that's when I had like the 2 months of like, are we sure about this? Also, because I was, like I said, I had such a hard year. I was like, I'm not really in the headspace to be like grinding business mode, like build something else, pivot, like I've been good at that my whole life, but like this is not really the time. I mean, it's almost makes sense that like at that point I had to just let it go. The money that I made by, like I said, I was very passive. The money that I made was no longer worth anything. I had to stop in order to set myself free from something that is really probably a daily reminder of, I mean, really just what my life turned into because of these soulless individuals. I almost said creatures. I should say creatures, but like because it was no longer empowering, it's almost like I'm back to square one. It makes sense that like during this time my PTSD was, I was like, I'm not sure like why it's so bad. Like maybe it's because I have court, and like no, it's like once the empowerment died down, that's when things started to crumble. Okay, I need to end this. A few things I'll say. Just anticipating comments like, yeah, I know stuff is gonna live out there. I pay monthly to have stuff taken down. There's usually 30,000 to 40,000 every single day. I get a report every day of delist links. It's a lot, okay? None of it's ever gonna fully be gone. People, some of my real life have been like, I mean, it's just kind of dumb because like if it's already gonna be out there, like you should be the one making money from it, etc., etc. But it's not dumb. It's blocking my blessings. Having my page up, other people can do what they want to do. I don't worry about that anymore. My path was blocked, and so it's gone now. That chapter's over, and I'm so at peace with not being able to say anymore like, yeah, I do OnlyFans, and just own it. Like if people say shit, even like at Equinox, people will be like, oh, I've seen your stuff, and just because like I'm done now and it's gone, like it doesn't feel bad to me that I can't be like, yeah, I do that. I'll just be like, yeah, I used to do that. At peace with it. And I also want to say, I do not for 1 second, not even a tiny bit, never ever in this entire time, and this is like a very firm, just like deep feeling that I have, I do not regret doing OnlyFans. It was more than just my survival. It served its purpose emotionally, financially, symbolically. I was willing. I was choosing what was out there. My power. It was my choice. Nothing's exploitative. And the fact that I did it allows me to still to this day be living off of the money that I made 3 to 4 years ago while I am forging my new path. Like I said, I've been building it in silence for like 9-10 months now, and why on earth would I regret that? Like, yes, I'm sitting here saying it doesn't serve its purpose anymore, but I'm not saying I regret it. It just doesn't serve its purpose anymore. It served a purpose. Do you know what I mean? Just speaking of purpose, my purpose, while I believe it's far greater than OnlyFans, I hope that goes without saying. However, I recognize that doing OnlyFans was a part of my journey to get me to be fully living my purpose, if that makes sense. And I mean, like I'm probably doing a horrible job of explaining it because like what day is it even? It gave me the strength, the healing, the stability to be able to focus on helping others, which back to the beginning, that's what I wanted to do. before this happened to me. Yes, it's gonna look a lot different now. I'm not gonna be sitting on a chair across from someone on a couch. I'm not gonna be speaking with the patient and helping them. But I have a good feeling that what I've been building is going to help millions of people. In fact, I'm quite certain, and I'm very certain that it's never been done before. Also, with my series coming out, and honestly just in general, all of the things I've talked about online, while sometimes cathartic, more often than not, talking about shit is really fucking hard for me and on me, and it's things that are this heavy, not OnlyFans, but the series, and anytime I have to talk about that, things like that, it takes a very large toll on me, and the reason I'm putting it out there is to help people. So that's a whole other life. Life doesn't feel right for me if my main focus isn't helping others. That's something I've known since I was young. Granted, like, I've had to learn, especially this past year, to like, bitch, take care of yourself also. So we're trying to do both now, but I will leave you there for now, mostly because this is probably so fucking long and I have an all-nighter ahead of me. I'm sure I missed things. That's fine. I can always make another video. I mean, I know I haven't been posting much over the past year. It's been my cocoon year. But hey, my Saturn retrograde just ended, so we out here. Maybe the universe was waiting until my page was fully deleted. Because, like, at any given moment, I could have been like, cancel. In fact, I could do it for about, wait, hold on, what's the date? It's the 12th. It's going to be deleted in 36 minutes. 35 minutes left for me to just, never mind. My camera just cut me off as I was trying to do an outro. Does that mean I just talked for 2 more hours? Bye.